said,
is he trying to stay out of sight?
look, we're realistic about the political environment that we are in. President Bush has followed this campaign with a huge amount of interest. He's followed the issues, he's followed the candidates, followed the tactics, but he realizes that this election is not about him. This is the first time in 14 years that President Bush hasn't been on the ballot, and that's a different role for him as in the past. But we are also cognizant that this campaign, the Republican Party wanted to make this election about John McCain, and that's appropriate. And that's what we've had between over the last several months. You've had John McCain and Senator Obama fighting it out, and now tomorrow the voters will get a chance to decide. The president encourages all Americans to cast their vote. He used his radio address this weekend to talk about that, and it's one of the great strengths of our democracy is that people get to have their say tomorrow. And we'll be here tomorrow night. President and Mrs. Bush will be having a small dinner up in the residence tomorrow evening. I'll provide you as much color as I possibly can. I wouldn't expect a ton of it, but I'll try to provide you some little tidbits of interest. And then, depending on the timing of the result tomorrow night, I'll come here to the briefing room and provide a readout for you of that, but there might be a cutoff time. One of the cameramen suggested 11 p.m. I think that might be a good compromise. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll let you know. Regardless, I'll try to provide you a reaction tomorrow night, at least a written one.
Can I follow that there? Is it a distinction without a difference to say the Republicans are trying to make this election about John McCain, when this election really is very much about President Bush and about people wanting a distinct change?
I think people have tried to make it about this president, but I think that whenever you're in America and you're looking towards the future, you want to know who's going to be your leader. And George Bush will not be the president on January 21st. The next president will be taking over, and they'll have all the responsibility that comes with that honor. President Bush remains hopeful that John McCain will pull it out tomorrow night and will win the election, and he thinks that Republican candidates all across America have the right ideas when it comes to the economy and national security. He'll be pulling for them, but he also is realistic about the political environment that we're in.
Dana. That realism.
Well, you guys talk about it all the time. I mean, we're not immune to the questions that you ask almost daily about popularity, approval ratings. We're aware of it, but this president has taken on really big issues, and he's been tested in many ways. And this is a president who has done big things. And often when you do big things and you make tough decisions, they're not popular. President Bush understands that. That said, he loves this country. He loves the people. He's loved the job, and he'll be watching tomorrow night with great interest as the returns come in.
Then how does he not take it as somewhat of a personal review?
I'm not saying that he doesn't recognize that there are people out there who want change. They've been looking for something new. Look, when it comes to the economy, we can understand that. This president was asked Americans to take on a really big issue and allow for $700 billion of taxpayer money to be reinvested so that we could get our economy moving again. It was a tough decision, a very unpopular one. It was very controversial. What keeps him going is knowing that he's done the right things. When it comes to protecting the country, since the September 11th attacks, he's been able to do that. Iraq is in a totally different place than it was a year ago today. We have made improvements across different continents, from Africa to India. We have better relations with China than we inherited. And when he goes home protected, President Bush will be able to look in the mirror and know that he was true to his values and true to his principles, and that's what keeps him going.
You haven't heard any reflections from him of any different tone or character recently as he's looking at Election Day, where it appears as though, again, if you look at the polls, it appears as though a lot of people, record numbers of people may be going to the poll. You may have a landslide in the works. You may have all predicated on running away from the president. You haven't heard any sadness, reaction, any kind of disappointment in his voice?
You know, the president recognizes what this election has been about. I also think that might be the characterization of it. I don't think that there are Republicans out there who think that the president hasn't done a good job when it comes to keeping this country safe, replenishing our military so that they can have the resources they need to do the job. The president has asked them to do tough jobs. He made a decision to go to Iraq. He still believes that was the right decision. And the next president will inherit a fragile but a democracy in the heart of the Middle East because of that decision. We have learned from mistakes. We had tremendous coordination this time around when we had 2 major hurricanes that hit our country, that we were able to coordinate. Also, one of those that having hit Louisiana. So a lot of things have improved. And this president was tested by a lot of different issues. I think he's taken those issues head on, and we can be proud of how we've addressed them. Everybody would like to be popular. We can all remember that back in high school. Everyone really wanted to be popular, and some of us just weren't. But that doesn't mean that you don't have principles and values that you stay true to. And that's what this president has done. It's what he's taught a lot of us, including me.